I'd been really sick when I first arrived to Australia and did a lot of self-healing to try and get off medication and all that. So I was a huge advocate of wellness and vitamins and stuff like that. So I was like, this is perfect. Let's do this. And so with the combination of a love for vitamins and desperation, Unfuck Yourself was born. So yeah.
Hi girls, and welcome to the second episode of the Girls Mean Business podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me who is going to share not just her business with us, but also a personal journey. So it's a special one. Thanks so much for joining me, Kat.
Thanks for having me.
We're very lucky to have Sarah on our first episode, or first two episodes now, because it's part A and part B because we spoke for so long. So now it's going to be split up into two episodes. But it was such a nice intro to the podcast because we got to talk about the idea of dreaming up yourself, becoming who you wanted to be from whatever, if it was a childhood dreams or just becoming an adult and a woman, and then realizing that you can have dreams and be whatever you want to be and make it happen. So I think it's a really nice transition to, on the flip side, have an episode which really talks about the struggles of business as a woman, especially. And with that concept in mind, your brand is definitely the most appropriate brand to do that. And I can't wait to talk more about how you started and how you grew and where you are. So tell us a little bit more about your brand, and where it came from.
So my company is called Unfuck Yourself Vitamins. And really that started because, the name came about because we wanted to really stand out in a saturated market, and really be about unfucking yourself. So that's how the name came about. How the business started, I would say that started out of desperation at one point. And the reason I say that is because I was in a job that I hated. It was so toxic, and thank God I'm not there now, but it was terrible. And my partner at the time wasn't probably doing too well financially either. So with the combination of a love for vitamins and desperation, Unfuck Yourself was born. So
yeah. Well, when you were establishing the brand name, what were the challenges that you faced with that brand? When you, even just within your circles of pitching it to friends or business associates, or the idea behind even marketing it? What were the challenges that you faced with that?
Yeah, it was. It's hard, and it was hard, and it's still hard. So, having a brand name like that is not accepted in ASIC, in the government's eyes. They don't like it. Not to mention trying to find a domain and then being able to market it and all of that sort of stuff. People just do not like the swear word. And so when we registered the business, that was thrown back at our face so many times. Yeah. So we had to get smart about it and try and break the word down into lots of other different words. And I think, God, I can't even remember what I put down as the business name. This is how ridiculous it was, but it was like Unleash Vitality something. It was
so you made, what is it, an acronym?
Yeah.
Is that what
Unfuck was, we had to make it into lots of different words. What would you call that? Like an acronym?
No, it's not an acronym.
No,
is it an acronym? What is it?
I don't know.
Haiku?
So dumb.
Is it a haiku poem?
Well, it fucking could have been.
Oh my God. The poem's called? I didn't do well in school. I don't know if it's a haiku. So I'm going to look it up now. I want to see how it's actually spelled. I'm actually going to look up haiku. I'm an embarrassment to myself. So what did you end up at?
So I cannot remember the full thing, but I know it was Unleash.
Oh, it's with a V.
Yeah, so it was Unleash, something with an F, Vitality, Conscious, maybe, Kinetic, Yourself, Vitamins. It was like something ridiculous.
Yeah, and so it is. It's an acronym for things that you can't even remember.
Yeah, no, I can't. Yes, I cannot remember the business name, guys. So,
I'm Googling haiku poem. Haiku.
Yeah, it's like two words, 3 words, I don't know.
No, it's not haiku. Ignore me. Haiku is something completely different.
Okay, we need to go back to school, guys.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of were able to register with ASIC. And then, you know, we tried to approach different places to stock our products in, and the business name was just like, we're not having it. It's like, you know, it was hard. Some places were like, oh my God, this is so cool. But when in the grand scheme of things, it was like, okay, this is not really going to work. And so we kind of stuck online. But we actually did a couple of expos, and we were approached by a distribution company who were overseas, and they were wanting to get us into Hong Kong basically and put us into stores in Hong Kong and online, which I thought was really interesting because the Chinese are very PG, and I was a little bit, I don't know about this, but yeah, they were very, very interested. Amazon also were really interested as well. We met them at the Fitness Expo, and they were really keen to stock us. But that came with its own challenges as well.
Yes.
So Amazon, little did I know, require you to have a trademark. You need to be trademarked to have a brand online with them. So if you were to just sell, I don't know, shoes or whatever, not actually have a whole company, it doesn't matter. You can do that. But if you were to have a whole brand online, they require you to be trademarked. So then that was the next
challenge. That opened up a whole new thing. So did you go through that process? And
I'm still going through it.
Still going through, because it's a big process.
Yeah. So, I mean, to trademark, it's like $200, I think.
Yeah.
You just do it online or whatever.
But it's obviously because you've got the name.
Yeah. So within 5 minutes, they were like, no, we're not trademarking it.
Even with the V.
Yeah. Yeah. So I rang them, and I was like, okay, well, you know, because there's French Connection, right? They essentially are a little bit like us.
Yes.
And they're trademarked here in Australia, overseas. So I was like, that's ridiculous. We're very similar. Why wouldn't you push that? And he was like, oh, it's because it's, you know, French Connection, whatever. It's not the actual word fuck. So anyway, he suggested getting a lawyer. And so that's what I did. I went and got a lawyer. They did a lot of research into it. And there is lots of different countries that have that, you know, swear words trademarked. New Zealand being our cousin country, they have swear words trademarked. And there's actually the company CU and the NT. They were also going through the trademark. I think they might be finalised now, but when I first approached it, they were still going through their battle. And my lawyer was like, well, if they get it through, which it looks like it's probably going to go through, then we have a really good leg to stand on to get yours through. So we're officially kind of trademarked. We're allowed the little TM next to the name while this is still happening, and no one can take our name. And we can register for Amazon. But
congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, that was huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
And so obviously we didn't have this conversation before about the process of your trademarking, and it's not something that I even thought about being such a challenge. But to see that you've gone through that much already to keep it going, like in amongst all your other struggles that you've got going on at the moment, that's pretty huge. So how long do you think, or how long do you foresee this sort of
they reckon,
playing out for?
I actually spoke to the lawyer about 2 weeks ago. He said to me it shouldn't be too much longer. So it goes to a hearing, a judge makes a decision, and we should have an answer very soon. So once we get that, I mean, that's huge. And I trademarked for everything, because if we were ever to extend the brand into, I don't know, beauty or clothing or anything like that, then we would be able to do that. So, that's...
Wow, that's big.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
it's
big.
huge.
Yeah.
And it's
so that'll give you the leg up on Amazon.
yeah.
But the other platforms, it wasn't an issue. You were able to still. So
Yeah.
you're still online and selling in those other spaces.
Yeah,
So it's pretty much going to put you on Amazon, which
will be huge. And even to get onto Amazon in America would be huge. So our target market at the moment is America. It's just they're more accommodating to the brand, I suppose. Not that Australians aren't. Like, we've got a really good sense of humour here and stuff like that. But America embraces it a lot more than what we can here. And that's because of the government restrictions around everything here. America is a little bit more lenient on stuff. And so we have been able to really get a feet on the ground in America as well. So that's been really good.
Yeah. So just going back to the trademark, because I just find this really interesting. If you were to give any tips or insight or guidance to anyone who might be experiencing the same sort of challenge.
Don't fucking give up.
Yeah.
That would be my biggest thing. Like, whatever the name is, I mean, obviously you can't copy someone else, but if you have a name that you're so passionate about and you think is really going to make an impact in the market, and our branding really stands out in the market, I'm so passionate about it. Just get it done and fight. And I knew as soon as they said no to me, I wasn't going to accept that.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I'm going to go and find the best lawyer. And I'm very lucky because I work in the legal industry. So it's like I'm very well connected. So, I found the best lawyers, and they were just like, found all these cases from America to the UK to New Zealand just to fight the trademark. So my advice would be, just if you believe in it so much, just don't give up and get it done.
So you mentioned that it's no longer a we company, that it's a me company. I'd love you to share a little bit more about that sort of journey, because sometimes when you're in business, the challenges aren't always professional challenges, and the hurdles that you need to overcome can be really, really personal. And sometimes those personal hurdles are the ones where you really want to say, I can't do this anymore. None of it's worth it. So I wanted you to share a little bit more about what the personal hurdles were for you with building this business.
Yeah, so it was a we company. My partner at the time and I decided to build this together, and he was very good at coming up with amazing ideas. He has got a business mind, and he has previously had a successful business. What happened to that and where everything went from that, I do not know. But from what I understood, it was successful. And then he also had a current business, which I thought was his business. Turned out it wasn't, but he
Turned out it wasn't.
it turned out to be his mother's business. But he was claiming it was his. So I'd gone into this relationship thinking this man was like this entrepreneur.
It was the
sales
pitch.
Such a good salesman, let me tell you.
It was the sales pitch to the relationship.
Yeah. So, because I had sort of seen that, and he had come up with the first business idea, which was massive. Like, there was going to be a huge marketplace. Unfortunately, we actually saw another company launch a very similar product at the same time, and I don't believe that they've been very successful in it. So maybe that was a good thing that went down. But he was very good at coming up with an idea. So there was that business, then there was the vitamins, and then there was another business, NDIS business, that he wanted to start running. And so we had all three things running at the same time. And as soon as he got sick, or once it was built, and things were done and it was set up, it was almost like he just was sick of it. He didn't want to do it anymore.
Was he a Gemini?
No.
Weirdly,
he's a fucking Taurus.
He's a Taurus.
Tauruses are not like, and I'm a Capricorn, so we should be building this stuff together. Like, it was almost like we were kind of perfect, right? But the first business, the marketplace, as soon as that website was finished, there came with the struggles of trying to get people to sign up to it. So we had friends and everybody trying to sign up, or that would sign up, and that was great, but there was actually an issue with the sign-on part. So because it was linked into Stripe, and then there was like verifications and all of that, and there was a bit of a glitch with that. And so I remember saying, we need to go back to the developer and we need to get this fixed and all that sort of stuff. And he was like, yep, we'll do that. And it kind of just died off. And I kind of probably just let it go, because at this point I was hugely invested in
the vitamins. Yeah.
So, and that was my baby. I came up with the name. I did all the branding. I did all the designs and everything. So I was hugely invested in this, and I was thinking this other company was more his thing. So he kind of gave up on that, and sort of then was trying to push the vitamins business a bit. And he was like, right, I'm going to learn how to do ads. He bought a course to do that. And we looked at doing expos and stuff, and we had like a bit of a plan in place. And it's almost like I felt like he liked the learning experience. So he did the ads course, set the ads up, and then as soon as the first week of ads didn't do well or didn't produce anything, that was it. We were done. We didn't want to do it anymore. And the problem with ads is like you have to be very consistent with it.
Yeah.
And it's testing the ad itself, like the content might not be what people want to see. So there was no testing phase or anything like that. It was just like, right. I think he jumped on it a couple of times here and there, and then kind of gave up on that. And I didn't know how to run ads, so I was very much leaving that up to him to do. And then I was like, and it's more in control of like, let's go into expos and try and get ourselves out there. And looking back, that it wasn't probably the best idea. We were very new and didn't have probably the capital that we needed at the time to do all of that, because that's thousands of dollars, and then you have to get all the branding and everything. I mean, the fitness expo alone was like well over 10K to get into.
Wow.
It was huge. The flip side of that, the positive to that, was that the distribution company found us in the first expo, and then Amazon found us in the fitness expo.
Yeah.
So we went to the fitness expo in September last year, and because of the traction we got from the fitness expo and Amazon approaching us, all of a sudden we're now reinvested.
He went to jump back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he decided that...
So at this point you're separated, you're not together, you're not living together?
We're not living together, but we're still in like a relationship. We were trying to work on things, but the relationship was not going well. Like he was starting to make some really selfish decisions. He wasn't spending a lot of time with me. The communication was starting to drop off. And so, the relationship was really starting to go in the bin. And so, we get to the fitness expo in September and getting this traction, and he's gone, I remember we had a call maybe a couple of days later about starting to divide things up. Actually, backtrack, we were, after the conversation about the business becoming mine and us going to the fitness expo, I had said to him, because at the time we decided to go to the fitness expo together, you need to come and help. Because I'm not doing it on my own. You were invested in it at the time, you need to come and help me. So he did that, which was great because it's big, it's massive. Then fast forward a couple of days later after the expo, we're having a conversation, and I was like, right, we need to start moving things into my name and having you come off the accounts and the domain and the website and everything. And we kind of got into an argument, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, you decided that you were going to give this up. You didn't want a bar of it. And he was like, oh, well, now after the expo, I kind of feel like, things could go well. Maybe I can take like 20% or something. I was like, oh my God. So then I had to sit in that for a while, and I was like, look, I need to think about this. This is really unfair. blah, blah, blah. So I think I maybe sat on that for a week and I was like, okay, let's just give him 15% he can have. And so then I was like, well, if you are going to take a percentage of this business, every time a bill comes in, you need to pay 15% of the bill. And he was like, yep, that's fine. So that lasted maybe probably right through to Christmas. And that's sort of when the trademark thing started coming up as well. And now we're starting to get a lawyer's bill. Now the initial conversation with the lawyer was like, oh yeah, this is going to cost about $3,000 or $4,000. Well, we've surpassed that now. And so at the time he was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll help you pay that. I'll pay 15% of it. And I never got the 15% of the bill. No.
Yeah, of course not.
And he keeps going, oh, I've got other things to pay right now. I can't do this. Like, oh, they can wait. And then the bill got bigger. And, well, the lawyers can't wait anymore. We need to start paying this bill. So you need to, you need to come up with money. And because anything that was going into the business from any sales or anything like that, that was covering what had already been invested. Like we were bootstrapping, full on bootstrapping. And I was not going to allow him to take anything out of that when everything that had gone into it was my money. So I was like, you need to come up with this money. And to this day, I still haven't received any of this lawyer's invoice. But I managed to get everything out of his name. Well, I started moving everything out of his name. I went to the bank and got him off the account and everything like that. And the final bits were the Google account, the website, and the domain. He was the main account holder, and I couldn't have access to it. So I really relied on him to give that to me. And months and months of asking for this. And And I usually wouldn't ask until we were in a really bad place. I'd be like, can you just get this transferred so I can be done? And then one day we were in a good place and I was like, hey, do you think you could transfer this stuff over? And he goes to me, why? And I was like, well, we're in a really good place right now and I feel like I always ask for these to be transferred when we're having an argument, so let's just do it now. And he reluctantly gave it over. So that was about a month ago that I finally got it all over. So, yeah.
So do you feel now that your ties, because it's a hard one, right? Because there's a business here that you're growing and you've invested so much time, so much money. It has potential. That there's going to be these opportunities pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
Which could scale your business quite rapidly. So when you've got a personal relationship looming in the background, do you feel that now that is a complete cut for you, that you can take the business where you want to go? Do you feel that when you were going through all of these motions with the partner, in a way you hold yourself back from giving more to the business?
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because I think it's there was a part of me that was holding back a bit. There was also a bit of codependency as well. So I was relying on him to be in it with me. So I stopped myself from doing content and stuff on my own because I really wanted him to be a part of it. And everything we were doing, I really wanted him to be a part of it. So there is that aspect where I definitely think now that it is fully mine, I can run with it however I want and I don't have to worry about him at all. And there's the judgment in that as well. So a lot of the time when I made a decision, he'd be like, yeah, that's fine, let's do it, whatever. And then when it didn't work out, I would then get blamed for wasting money or doing the wrong thing or whatever. So there was never accountability from him. So you kind of get to a point as well where you're like too scared to do anything or make the next move. So there was that, which was huge. And then there was also, I truly believe that the universe was blocking a lot of things because the energy wasn't right. He was holding on to a lot of bad energy. He wasn't fully committed to this. I think if it blew up, he would be committed to it, but he wasn't willing to put in the energy for it. And I do think that the universe really knew that and made things the way that they were to stop him from ending up with, potentially success.
Yeah.
And so ever since, and the funny thing around that, and the reason why I truly believe that his energy was a block, was because when he moved out of my place, the distribution deal that we had nabbed at the beginning of the year, so that would have been in March or something, and he moved out in July, that was such a difficult relationship to build. There was a lot of to and fro. There was a lot of uneasiness from my side as well, because we had to pay them a portion of money to market and do things at their end to be able to launch the brand. And that's a huge risk. You're paying someone overseas.
Yeah, so this is, just to clarify, this is your distribution deal that you've got with the US at present, yes.
Oh, so with Hong Kong, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a huge risk, and we'd paid this money and then didn't hear anything from them. And it was like, I was like, oh my God, okay, we knew this was going to be a risk. We've just forfeit the money. And then when he moved out of my place, I believe maybe a month or so, maybe a couple of weeks or a month after that, they get in touch. And they're like, hey, we've put everything together. We've got a plan going. Like, let's get the ball rolling. And so there was a lot more backwards and forwards with like marketing material and bits and pieces. And I was like, okay, that was my first little sign that he was blocking this. And bear in mind, we were getting back together and we're on again, off again all the time. And every time we were on, things stopped.
Weren't working out.
Yeah. Like,
I'm a big believer of that too. I think your path is already written.
Yeah.
So if you have, when you try to build something and it's not meant, or it's not working out, or it's not going the way that in your mind you feel like your efforts are being recognized, there's a reason for it.
You definitely need to check your surroundings.
Yeah.
Check yourself as well, because sometimes you can be a block on yourself, but checking your surroundings. And I really started noticing that this man was blocking. So when we were on, the distribution deal was starting to like die off again. And then when we were off, it was like, okay, things are moving. And so finally, come December, it was just before Christmas, we finally sent product over to Hong Kong.
Wow.
That was, and that was massive. And that was after, I believe that was slightly after I had just taken his name off the business, the ASIC registration.
Yeah.
And so that was my sign, right, this man cannot be on this business. He needs to be off. And it's funny, like, we've been split up now for maybe over a month properly, like the relationship's now dissolved. And ever since then, more things have come in. Like, it's just all of a sudden, I'm being...
Do you think in a way that the other part of it is like, yes, okay, you feel that being in partnership with someone and it's not working out the way you thought it was going to work out, and you talked about his energy being a block, but do you think that once that partner is removed from the equation, that your own capabilities are opened up? Like your own efforts, you in a way you shift your energy. Yeah. So your own energy will reap the benefits from what you put in. So it's not actually, sometimes when I think about those sort of scenarios, I've been in partnership twice as well with people, never a partner. So I don't actually know. I was, obviously I was married and I, helped my husband with his businesses, but it was never a partnership arrangement where I was so heavily involved with making all of the decisions. But I have been in partnership businesses before, and it is very challenging. So sometimes I think that when you are in partnership and you have two very different ideas of where you think a business should go or can go, and not coming to an agreement on those things is actually the block.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like him himself or you on your own, but it's the two different plans, ideas, concepts going in different directions is the block.
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe that was essentially the issue there. He wanted it one way, maybe the lazy man style, and I was like, let's just bootstrap it and go hard out and, old school guerrilla marketing and obviously ads and social media and everything. But I was willing to just give up my whole life to put into this business. And so when you have someone who is like, I will put in 120% of everything I possibly can, and another person sitting over here going, well, I think we can do it the easier way of whatever, and sitting back and relaxing and just, I don't know, hoping. Then, yeah, of course, it's not going to work. And I really, and it goes back to, like I was saying before, when I was making decisions and he was like, yeah, all good. And then he obviously didn't like it. And that really made me, that was sad to hear, because I felt like, okay, God, am I too much? Am I like, I started questioning myself a lot around that. I was like, am I emasculating this man? Am I like, am I that much of a bitch that you can't say anything to me?
Yeah, but when it comes to business, if you don't approach your business head on, if you kind of think that it's going to grow its own legs on its own and you're not going to be working around the clock to build something, it's not going to happen. So if you've got someone who thinks that they can just slowly progress it, like I've watched so many people build businesses from giving every bit of themselves to that business.
Yeah.
So if you've got one person who doesn't have that tenacity or drive, and the other that does, then you are going to be coming off with that heavy masculine energy in a business relationship. I think everyone also has their own contributions to make to a business, but whether or not you're on the same page on the same day.
Yeah. Look, I think he had a lot of value, and I don't want to diminish that. Like, he built the website, the Unfuck Yourself website. He did all the graphics and stuff for me. Like, he's a man of many talents. Like, there was things that he really could bring to the business, but once that part of it was over and there was no more of that you could do, like it was like, okay, now I'm over it. And it was that we needed to really put our heads down and push as much as we could to get this off the ground. And I guess little did I know that his financial situation probably wasn't the best. I really got blindsided a bit with that. Because
do you think going into business with a partner, you really get to know your partner?
Do you what?
You get to know. But just such a crazy thing that you think you know someone and you don't.
No.
You don't, and you live together, but you don't know the person.
Everything starts to unravel.
Everything starts to unravel
when you're doing something like this together, because like I said, I thought he owned a business. This business that we were, while he was living with me, I thought it was his. And, just from my own past experiences, like, I have worked so hard to have the career that I have and to be where I am at and to be able to live in a beautiful apartment next to the beach and raise 2 children on my own. Financial stability was a huge thing for me going into this relationship. And we had that conversation multiple times, and he swore black and blue that he had financial stability. And such a funny story. I'm laughing now, but it was not funny at the time. But when we first broke up and he moved out and we had a chat, And I said to him, because obviously everything had come out at this point, like, where's the money? Like, there was a point where he wasn't bringing home any money at all because he wasn't making sales or something. And, there were some weeks where he just didn't pay rent. He didn't pay his portion of the rent and wouldn't even talk to me about it. He just didn't pay it. It was weird. Yeah. So then we get out of this relationship, and I remember saying to him, we had so many arguments at the beginning of our relationship when we were dating, where I said to you, financial stability was so important to me because I do not want to be brought down, or you need to be equal or better than me. And his response was, I did have financial security. I had my own place, which was a granny flat at the back of someone's house, which I think he was paying like $300 a week. He had it. His other thing was, I had a job. Great. Yep. You were selling your mum's goods. Yeah. It wasn't your business. And I have my mum.
No.
Yeah. So his mum was his financial backing. And she has always, I really feel like she has always been the person to pick up anything.
I'll remember that the next time I go on a date. I'll ask the question, what can you bring to the table? My mum.
Yeah, my mum.
Red flag.
Bless her. I mean, honestly, bless her. But I was like, holy shit, I did not think that was going to come out of your mouth. And so
actually, yeah.
What the hell? And so, I'd like sunk all of my savings. I was very lucky to walk away with a settlement out of my first marriage and coming to Australia. I had a bit of backing. I was good. I just threw everything into this business because I believed in it so much, and the first business too. And when you look at because I was tracking everything, I made sure I tracked every spend and what he was spending and all of that. And the comparison was just unreal. Like his, let's say 10 grand versus my 60 or whatever, it's, it's crazy.
Your contribution was,
massive.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that this is a business, solo venture, so to speak, on your own, because it is, I think, empowering to have a business and be able to, you're not there yet, but to come back in, 12 months or 2 years and say, okay, this was its origin, this was its story, but this is where I took it and this is what I built on my own. It's pretty empowering to be able to do that. And I know that you're still working and you are a career woman in your own right. So to be able to build something whilst also still having a career and having kids, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. When starting out a business and then you pitch this business idea to your friends and family, the criticism and the negativity, or on the flip side, the people who are really, really supportive and encouraging and positivity. What was your experience, especially because of the branding and the name? There's a saturated market in environments as well. That industry is, you really need to stand out. So what kind of reception did you get when pitching this idea and brand to people?
Yeah. So mostly it was positive. A lot of people were laughing about the name and all of that. There were a few key people in my life, and even to this day, one of them still asks me nearly every week, "You still doing your vitamins business? Do you think you should just give it up?" Like,
they're waiting for you to fail.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to fail.
And I just keep thinking, stop talking to me, please. And I think, I don't know whether it's coming from a place of love or something like that, but I know she genuinely cares about me, and can see the other stuff that I'm going through. Like, I've got a lot on my plate in my personal life. And then obviously the partner situation as well. So maybe she was, why don't you just give it up, like, kind of thing. But every week I kind of get that question of like, are you still going to do it? Like, yeah. And then,
because it is hard, like in business. Like, I've probably my experience most recently is with Girls on Fleek, because it's something a little bit out of the box to go and say, okay, I'm just going to start a networking group for women in business. So I remember when I first told my friends about I'm going to put on this event and it's going to be for women in business, and then I got an amazing turnout. You're at that first event? Yeah. So I had an amazing turnout at the event. I know that my friends and I know that my family were ultra supportive, so supportive. But in a way there is this, but why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? And it's one thing that I keep coming back to it, because you have these conversations with your friends and family all the time where they do question you and they're saying to you, oh, are you still doing this? Or what are you doing with that? Like, what's happening with that? Like, give me the update. I think go on Instagram. So
Yeah, go look
me
on our social media.
But whilst you know that they love and they care for you, if they're not that way inclined, business minded, if they're not that way inclined, they're always going to have that little bit of doubt or hesitation.
Yeah.
And it's something that I speak often to other women in business about is, that moment where it's not an I told you so moment, but it's more like where you reflect back on those times where there's people who didn't experience or question what you were doing. And then all of a sudden those people are like, oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Oh, you did it. So do you have that moment where you are still in a phase of your life where people are questioning you, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, look, not really anymore. I'm very, very lucky. Majority of my friends are entrepreneurs. They've all got their own businesses. So we all, support one another. There is that one person that once a week, and I just brush it off. Like, I'm just like, you don't know my life. You don't know where I'm going with this. You do not know what's inside my head. And you are the one person out of 100 people that has been negative about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that made me think, oh my God, it was a proud moment, and maybe I've won in a little bit of a way, was my mum. Her and I haven't had the best relationship. We've been, we haven't spoken for years on end, and then we talk again and all that sort of stuff. It's been a hard relationship. And
is mum here or mum's overseas?
Mum's in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And we, over the last few years, have really been able to build a relationship again, which has been amazing, because now we understand each other's traumas, and, everyone does things at the time because that's all they know how to do. And so now I understand that and the reasons why she may have done things when I was younger and whatever. So our relationship is starting to build back up, and she has been probably like my number one supporter in the business. She lives in New Zealand and has purchased probably the most amount of product off me. And it is not cheap to ship stuff to New Zealand from Australia. So the fact that a person who I have had a really tedious relationship with over the years can come out and be my number one supporter, I don't give a shit about anybody else.
Wow.
So that has been massive for me.
Yeah.
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 Makes me a little bit emotional, actually.
It's funny. Yeah. I haven't had the greatest relationship with my mother over the years either. But more recently, I've made a really conscious decision to make more effort to build that relationship back up, because at the end of the day, yes, we're very different people. We're very, very different people. But I look back at the things that she's done and the things that she's achieved, and I spoke to you before about how she went out and found herself a career in her late 40s. And at the end of the day, I'm one of 4 kids. She still raised 4 children. So you do, as an adult, start to look at them in a different light, I think, and appreciate them for the things that they did do instead of the things that they didn't.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, you focus on all the things they're not doing.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to hear that you're back on.
Yeah.
back on with mum, and she's a biggest supporter.
Yeah.
And I guess in a way it teaches you to back yourself.
Absolutely.
And you do. In business, you have to 100%.
Oh,
back yourself. There's this There's this lady that I used to work for. You probably wouldn't know her, but her name is Serena Rosso. So she runs a company in employment services in Australia, and she wrote a book. So talking about backing yourself, and her goal was to make sure that this book became a number one seller. So in order to make sure it was a number one seller, she bought every single copy of it and sold the book out.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when you have these goals, like you really do need to go and back yourself and do everything possible to achieve achieve the dream.
Absolutely. And I think when you and you'd relate to this, when you have children and you've been through a relationship breakdown and you only have yourself to rely on, you become so hardened to the world and you just go, I do not care about anybody else or what anybody else thinks, and I'm just going to go out and get it. And I really wish that we could teach the younger generation that sooner, before they get to go through the mess and then go, okay, I'm going to back myself. Yeah. And fortunately enough, my daughter, she's 18 and she is learning very valuable lessons through my fuck ups in life. And she's such a smart girl, and she's going to really succeed in life. I think she finds the right mentors. She's got, she'll pick a career to try and gain the best knowledge that she can. She's very picky with men as well, which I love. If someone doesn't do something that she likes, she's like, you're out of here. So, and I think when I was her age, and just through my own childhood stuff, I just sort of landed in someone's arms that wanted to that I thought just loved me, and never thinking about the bigger things.
There was a different way that we were raised, which I have a daughter, and even my sons, I do not want to raise my children the way that I was raised, but we're taught to be very selfless.
Yes.
Now, it's going to sound wrong, but the benefits that I've seen in being selfish far outweigh the benefits of being selfless. And it's a little bit tricky because you're a mum, so we have that maternal instinct and we always want to give to other people. But over the last few years, I've really shifted my focus to do things more selfishly. Of course, my kid's my number one priority, of course. But the more things that I've gone out and done for myself have had a positive impact on all of my children. So the happier I am when I start doing small things for myself, the happier I am, the better mum that I am to them. The more free time I want of my free time I want to give to them. So I think that's another way of leading by example. You start doing things, but we weren't raised like that. We were raised to give to others. So when you grow up and then you meet someone, you become the giver in the relationship. You want to give to them. Then you go on and you have children, you want to give to them. And then you're still doing the same for your family. You want to give to your family. So how can you be a successful businesswoman if you're always giving to everyone else around you?
Yeah.
Look,
that is the lesson I'm relearning again.
Yeah, I'm learning it still too. Yeah.
Because, you would have thought the first marriage I would have figured that one out. And I did go selfish after that relationship, and I was single for 6 years, and I really did put myself first and the kids first and all of that sort of stuff. But then it's like you forget. And you would then fall back into the trap of giving everything to a man, because that's naturally what we would do as women. We are givers, we're nurturers, we want to help, we want to fix, we just want to love.
Yeah.
And we think that by doing all of these things, it's going to give us the love in return, and it actually doesn't. And learning that actually if you were selfish, you put yourself first, you go to the gym, you do your business, you're busy doing you, he will respect you a hell of a lot more and your time a hell of a lot more while you're in that phase than being in the phase of let me cater to you, let me cook your dinner, and all, they just lose respect for you.
Yeah.
So,
but I also think the more they do lose respect for you because it becomes an expectation. Why wouldn't it become an expectation when their life is so easy? To be honest, if I had someone doing everything for me,
you would sit there and be like, great. You
I
treat them
would
like
too.
trash, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't be giving as much back. Why would you need to? You would lap it up. But by constantly giving to somebody else, I know in my marriage, that was my main focus was my husband at the time. I just wanted to make sure that he was happy because I felt like if he came home happy, we would have a happy home. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't happy. So if you don't have a happy mum,
you're the heart of the home.
Yeah, you have a heart of the home.
You have to be happy.
How can you give more I couldn't give more to my children than what I was.
Yeah.
You know, where now I give a lot to my children. I prioritize myself first to make sure that I've achieved things that I wanted to achieve for the day. And when I say prioritize, I'm not doing anything crazy. It sounds
what
so
can you
selfish.
be doing? No, I get it.
So selfish. When I say prioritize myself, I mean I'm going to have my shower first.
Yes, me too.
And you kids can go and have your afternoon tea and watch some TV. When I come down, then I will get you all ready.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel better. I'm in a better place and I'm spending more time with them than after. So sometimes I have to rethink it the way that I'm wording it because
I
coming
get it.
across like she's out partying with all her friends every weekend. She's so selfish.
No,
it's not. It's just little things.
It's the little things.
It's just
I'm
little
the
things.
same.
Yeah.
Like I get up in the morning and I love that hour or so before the kids wake up and start destroying my peace and quiet, you know, like having my coffee, chilling out. I might scroll on social media and then I'll start getting myself ready or whatever. But to have that alone time in the morning and that selfish time is so important to set you up for the day and to then be able to pour into everybody else because you're not just pouring into your children, you're pouring into every single person you meet throughout the day. And I would assume with your business, you're constantly talking with people, you're trying to help set up their lives, right?
Yeah.
Same in my business. I'm have clients, dealing with clients all day long, helping them with different things, and it's a lot of energy. You're taking on their stuff, whatever's going on in their life, because guarantee they'll tell you what's going on in their life for the day, and then you then have to give empathy to that, so that's taken away from you. So you have to have those selfish moments in the morning to get yourself ready, and then when you come home at night, to then be able to shower everything off from the day and get your kids to bed and then just have your time to just do you and go, oh my God, I'm done, you know?
Yeah, you couldn't have worded it any better. That's exactly what I was thinking. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. And my time that now I spend with my children is quality. It's quality because I enjoy their company.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like being around them. They're my friends now.
I know. Isn't it funny when you're in a partnership, in a relationship with someone, they're not.
I'm like, I'm a mother. I'm on autopilot. I'm a robot. I need to just get X, Y, Z done for the day. I need
Stop
a break.
talking to me. Like, yeah. But then when you don't have that partner around and it is just you and your children, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday, my son and I was driving him around. He had rugby trials and all sorts of crap going on. And I went to go, I dropped him off at rugby training in the evening and I said, I'm going to go to my friends. I'll come back and pick you up at 7. And he goes, oh, aren't you going to hang around and wait for me? And I was like, no, I've been with you all day. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I would have liked you. And I was like, I absolutely would love to stay. And, you know, I get that. And I usually do, but tonight I really just need to go and see my friends to have a debrief, you know? Yeah. And that moment was special because that is, I mean, yes, it's sad for him because I needed to go and have my time. But
so how many games do you not turn up? How many training sessions are you there being present?
I know, but on the flip side of that, for him to sit there and really want me and cherish that time that we've had together that day, oh, my heart melted. Like, that's an accomplishment to be able to give that to your children. Yeah. So
it's true. I don't know how far I can go to say this, but when my children, so one of my sons plays basketball. He's really into it. God love him. He's not the best at it, but he's so into it. And when he does his games or his training or whatever, he always asks if I'm coming or if I'm going to watch. And I'll put it back on him and I'll say, "Oh, do you want to offer it to your dad?" And he'll say, "If Dad comes, are you coming?" And I'll say, "No, I'll give Dad a turn this time." And he'll say, "Okay, no, Mum, we might do Dad next week. We might do Dad next week." So you do feel this like, okay, I'm doing something. Okay, I'm doing something right.
You're their stability. You're their everything, especially with boys. Mums are their whole world. You're their first love, you know?
Yes.
So to have that and know that you're achieving as a mum on top of everything else that you're doing. You're running a business, you're doing Girls on Fleek, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, to have that special moment where they're just saying, "I want you," you know you've won.
You know, You know you've added something to their lives. It's irreplaceable. It's the beauty of meeting other women in business.
Yeah.
Which is why I went so hard with the networking, is because I've had the opportunity to meet so many women and hear their stories. And now I feel like I can do anything now. I can do it because people go through so many other experiences, breakups, partnerships, questioning whether the business is going to be viable without another person. And then beyond that, loss, grief. People, like, I've met girls who have experienced such grief and hardship whilst trying to grow their business and come out the other side of that. Or I've met women who have been told no hundreds and hundreds of times. At every direction they turned, they were roadblocked. So when you're going through your own experience of starting a business, or in my case, I've had my business for a little bit, but being able to connect with other people to expand your business, it's tricky because you're always filled with self-doubt. Well, I know I am. I still now am constantly filled with self-doubt. If I take a step out of my life and I look back at myself, I'm like, okay, you've got all of these things going on and they're all amazing, positive things that so much is going to come of it. But then you step back in and you're like, I can't do it. And I hate that. I hate that. Even now, I still say that to myself all the time. Like, I can't get through today because this is just too hard. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I know, I can totally relate to that. And it's, you do need to just step back and go, if you looked at yourself 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that person 10 years ago looking at you now would be clapping. Because who you were back then is nothing to what you are now. And you've achieved so much. So we really need to remember that little girl back then would have dreamed of the life that you have right now. And you're doing well. And, you know, there is so many positive things going on for you. Yeah. But the self-doubt is a hard one. And I think especially as women in business, we are so vulnerable to so many things, especially even in the corporate world, for instance, right? We are looked down on differently to how men are in the world. And it's the same as business. Men seem to get things off the ground a lot better, faster, or whatever, or I don't know, they just have a completely different mindset to how we do things. And we need to remember that women we have so much more power than men do, really. If you really think about it, we can sway so many things. Our intuition is usually on point, and if we listen to that,
that's a huge thing.
Yeah, men don't have that.
They do not have intuition.
No, but if we
it's funny that you say that. This is something that I think about a lot.
Yeah,
and I've had conversations about this, about just men just don't have intuition.
No,
and why partnerships with a woman would work well because we are that voice.
Yeah. So if you trusted that, and you have nothing to worry about because we know what's going to work and what's not going to work. We know our own power. Like, I have no doubt that you could walk into a room and just light that whole room on fire, basically. Like, I know I have that ability.
That's lovely to say. I'll take that.
No, because you've got that aura about you, and you can see you're strong, you're independent, you're successful, right? And I know that I have that within myself. And so when I walk into a meeting, I have got the room's attention and I walk in like that. Now, prior to walking in there, I'm a little bit like, oh God, I don't want to do this meeting. What am I going to say? Blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden when I need to go in, the switch just turns on and I'm like, I am the queen of this meeting room and I'm going to bring that in. And we have that power.
It's funny that you actually say this because I've experienced that on a personal level with you. So when you came to that first event, I don't know if we spoke. A little bit. I think you sat with me for 5 minutes when we were doing the games. Okay, because there was quite a few women there.
Yeah.
But I remembered you from that. I remembered you. Yeah, you had an impression on me. So there you go.
Well,
there you go.
And
that. Yeah, you actually had an impression on me so that when I left that night, I know that I connected with you online in some way, but I remembered you to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't have that with all the women. There was only a few.
It's funny because I was very much in awe of you as well. I remember you in this pink dress and I was like, she is in her feminine energy and she is a boss bitch. Like,
that's so
honestly,
nice.
It was like, so when you're sitting there in doubt, and I know it's hard because we're scared, like you've got to talk in front of a bunch of people or, sometimes you think, oh, maybe something might not go my way or whatever. But how often does that actually happen? How often does it actually turn out to be the most amazing thing, or you've won something?
Yes. Well, I think the thing that men have over us, which is something that we as women have to learn, is their willingness to take risk.
Yes.
See, we
don't.
So we've got intuition.
We don't use it.
But the willingness to take a risk where you start to see, things falling into place for you is because of being the one to say, okay, I'm going to do it. Men just do it.
They just do it.
They just do it.
They don't care. They really don't care. And I see that a lot in the corporate world. They just throw themselves in or whatever. And I feel like we need to be a little bit more strategic, especially corporate and in Australia, that is huge. Like the divide between women and men is massive.
Yeah.
Which
I've been out of the corporate world I've been self-employed for so long.
Oh,
so being in that environment, I don't get to experience that. I don't experience that gender inequality.
Yeah.
I'm in a male-dominated industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I set my own pace.
Yeah.
So in the corporate world, do you still feel like that's heavily present?
I'm very, very blessed that the company that I work for are very, they pride themselves on equality across the company, whether it's gender, whether it's disability or anything like that. They actually do a lot for women. I actually found out yesterday that they do a lot of donations to women's shelters and breast cancer and a lot of women's charities we donate to. So that was a proud moment when I saw all of that. And look, it is a male-dominated industry, but there are women in high jobs, and I only see it from the perspective of like it's a legal world. That is a very male-dominated industry. So, outside of our business, you do see a lot of it, and I'm grateful that I have a very good place to work, which is good. And it allows me to be whoever I wanted to be. When I first came here, I did experience a little bit of, that sort of not having, women were sort of looked down at in the beginning, and I think that was because of the leader that was there at the time. She wasn't making herself look great, but there was also a bit of racism. For me being a Kiwi, I was like, for goodness sakes.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, it was weird. But that was quickly, that put me in my power straight away. I was like, right, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to be, and ever since I did that, I've just shone all the way through. And now I'm in the most amazing position, and I feel like an absolute boss bitch. And then on top of that now, the business. So when you've got your own thing going as well, and
we should be more inclusive. I should put it out there to more corporate women to come and join now. Because it's so targeted towards women in business, but then you forget there's this, other demographic of women who are scaling, growing, achieving in the corporate world?
Yeah. Well, I mean, where
put
I
it out.
started 6 years ago was the junior of our industry, and to where I'm at now, I essentially run my own business within the firm because I'm the BDM now.
Oh, yes.
So I go out, I get the business. It's up to me. If I want to make money, I need to go and get the business. If I don't want to make money, well, I sit back and do nothing, right? So I hold the power within that, which is, and I've worked so damn hard to get there, and been knocked back a few times over the years over different things, but you just keep working so hard at it, improving yourself, not only to yourself, but not only to them, but more for yourself, that you can do it and know your worth. One day it will happen.
Yeah. So being a BDM is going to have a profound impact on your actual business.
Yeah.
Because you've already learnt the skills.
Yeah, for relationships
Yes.
and absolutely. And you'd have that too. Like going, and it is key to just go out and make relationships with people. And it's not about just finding someone to sell a business to. It's actually creating proper relationships with people. No one wants to buy your product. Everyone wants to buy it because of you. They know you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Well, that's what I've modeled my business on, is just focus on building relationships with people, because the rest will come, and it does. Well, it has for me anyway. All right, so just from your own experiences within the corporate world, and then also setting out and starting your own business, and taking it to the point that you've got it to today, going through all its challenges, what is something that you've really taken from your experience, and what kind of advice would you give to somebody who is probably thinking to go and do the same?
Yeah. So I guess at the moment I'm in a period of my life where I'm probably at rock bottom. Like, I've got a lot going on with the breakup, having to move house, and, trying to get a business really off the ground. And probably the one bit of advice that I would give is, when we're all going to hit rock bottom, there will always be a rock bottom that you will hit. And you're allowed to have your moment of, sitting back, crying, eating chips on the couch, chocolate, ice cream, whatever.
Yeah.
Do that. Be emotional, let it all out. But then get up and go, right, what is my plan? How am I going to get myself out of this? And this is what I've done. I've sat down and I've written a plan and stages for my business, for my content, and for my life. And you just have to go, well, if this is the lowest point that I could possibly be in, it can't get any worse than this, right? So we're gonna take it step by step and get out of it. And that is what I'm doing right now. I'm so grateful to be on this podcast. I've even started doing my own podcast and sharing my own life story on TikTok around where I'm at now. And I want to show women how you can get out of it, that hitting rock bottom isn't the end of everything, and it's not the worst place to be. We need to look at it as it's actually a blessing to be able to start again and have a brand new life. And nothing amazing comes out of staying still. You have to lose everything to gain this new life, right? So whether you're at rock bottom or you're just stagnant in your life and you don't really know what you want to do, and you're thinking about doing a business, I'm going to tell you right now, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just get up and do it. Come up with a plan. There's so many things out on TikTok now and YouTube. Watch other women who are starting from square one, and watch the brands that have become very successful. There are a lot of women in business that have become very, very successful.
Yeah. They all started somewhere.
They did. Absolutely.
And everyone usually nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has a story.
Yeah, everyone has a story.
But trust your intuition. That's key. We need to trust our intuition, believe in yourself, and just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story, because I know it was a lot of personal stuff that you talked about today, which is huge, but also a little bit of a vent. It's like free therapy to sit on the couch with me. So I'm so appreciative that you came and took the time out to share your business story and your personal story with me today, Kat.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what happens for you from now and over the next 12 months. And I'm sure we're going to have many more chats between ourselves, whether it's, maybe at the next event or just hit me up and we'll go for coffee.
Absolutely.
I don't mind. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been so much fun.